Good afternoon, Villa fans, and welcome to a match preview for Aston Villa versus Liverpool. 3 days in a row you've had me now, so two sort of videos looking at Freiburg and the game for next week in the Europa League final. But this time we're looking ahead to a game that I don't think many people want to play, really. Everyone's just focusing ahead to the cup final. This one sort of, snuck up on everyone. It had to be moved to Friday evening as well because we made the Europa League final. But we are playing Liverpool on Friday. Do we go strong? Do we rotate? Please, nobody get injured. I'm not saying I want to see people pulling out of challenges and things like that, but just want to get over this game without any injuries. Hopefully, City can do us a favour with Bournemouth as well next week, I think on Tuesday. But it'd be nice to finish off the season at Villa Park with a home victory. And as I pointed out, there are going to be a few players here that you can see that might be their last game at Villa Park. So including the likes of Ross Barkley, which I think this has gone under the radar, really. So Ross Barkley's out of contract in the summer. We do hold a year option on him. I personally would trigger that. I think he's been a useful player when available. He can play in the 6, he can play in the 10. Scored a few important goals for us, even against Burnley just recently. I think if Douglas Luiz is obviously not going to be retained, that he's ahead of him in the pecking order. And I think, with the injury record that we have across Amadou Onana, Boubacar Kamara, Yuri Tielemans, obviously, I think maybe we should trigger a 1-year extension. I don't think he's on high wages at Villa, and trying to source a replacement for him is just going to be work that maybe we don't need to put in, and we can focus that attention on other areas of the pitch where we do need to bring players in. But it's down to the player, whether he wants to stay or not. Maybe he wants to play more regular football, given his age. Been linked with Coventry. We were just recently promoted. A local move makes sense, I suppose. But let's see. So Ross Barkley's there. Leon Bailey, I think he's run his race at Aston Villa, hasn't he? And he could be playing his last game at Villa Park if he gets on the pitch or he starts. Big rumours that we need to clear him out and have a massive clear out anyway. 2023 Bailey was fantastic for us, but we've not seen that Leon Bailey return to us in any shape or form. So I think it's best for all parties if he moves on. And Emi Martinez, we saw at the end of last year, tears on the pitch, was expected to move on, was waiting for Man United to make a move, which didn't happen, ended up staying with us this season, has been an important player, made some really good saves. I've gone on record to say I want Emi Martinez to end his career at Aston Villa and stay with us. But the rumours will not go away. He's been linked away more or less every kind of transfer window. So is this the one where he actually gets over the line, leaves the club? He's got the World Cup coming up. Does he want to sort his future out quickly? So it could be the last time we see Emi Martinez in goal at Villa Park as well. I hope not. Really do. I want him to stay, but it could be. And then the other two that we've got here, Tyrone Mings, club legend. Is he legend? I think if we do lift the Europa League trophy, he probably will go down as a bit of a club legend. Been with us since the Championship days, helped with the promotion, steadied us into the Premier League. Been a real important player. Obviously had big injuries himself as well. He's been in and out of the team. He finds himself ousted at the moment on that left-hand centre-back position from Pau Torres, who just gives us a little bit more. Tyrone Mings, 33, I think he is now. Is he looking for one move away? Ipswich, the team that gave him his opportunity, have just been promoted back into the Premier League. I'm sure that they could do with an experienced head in their defence in the Premier League next year. Can definitely see that move happening for Tyrone Mings next year. And again, is he part of the clear out? He's a great guy, great person to have in the club, in the changing room, around the dressing room, speaking to the media. He comes across amazingly well. You can't keep everyone. This is the thing when it comes to a clear out. You can't say, sentimental value, I'd keep hold of him. I want to in some ways because I really like him as a person, as a leader and what he's done and achieved at Villa. But every road comes to an end. And I think I've got a feeling with Tyrone Mings, this is the end of the road for him. Would love for him to lift that trophy, help John McGinn and him lift that trophy on Wednesday against Freiburg as well. So let's see what happens there. But Mings could be farewell. And then the big one is Mr. Morgan Rogers. He's been linked away with a move, 100 million apparently. A lot of teams would be interested. He's got a World Cup coming up. If he has a good World Cup, that could, heighten interest in not just Premier League teams, but European teams as well. 23 years of age, I believe he is. He's done amazingly well at Villa. Villa have given him the platform. Emery's given him the platform and the opportunity to shine. He's taken it. Has fallen off a little bit in recent months, let's say. His consistency hasn't been there. I just think he's absolutely knackered. And I think Emery is to kind of blame for that, because he plays him every minute of every game when there were chances to maybe bring him off towards the end of games or things like that. And I just think now he's just running on empty. And I'm hoping he's got one big performance left in him, or maybe two big performances left in him. Maybe this one to help us secure Champions League, and then on Wednesday as well. And he can just, take it easy against Man City in the last game when everything is kind of wrapped up. That's the ideal, isn't it? But Morgan Rogers, 100 million, would you take it? 80 million, would you take it? Some fans saying yes, some fans saying no. It would be similar to when Jack Grealish left the side. It would help us kind of rebuild, bring in new faces, spend that money wisely, hopefully. He is a fantastic player on his day, but he tends to go missing, loses the ball quite a lot. It just all depends. But this could be potentially his last game at Villa Park again. So something that I think a lot of fans are obviously getting wrapped up into the Europa League side of things, and rightly so. It's a massive game for us, but without realising that come next season, a few of these players might not be putting on the Villa jersey anymore. So anyway, that's just my thoughts on sort of the outgoings and what could happen there and whose last games it could be. But looking at the match preview and looking at Liverpool, currently sitting in fourth position, one place above us, plus 12 goal difference. Fourth highest goal scorers in the Premier League with 60 goals. Only City, Arsenal, and Man United are above them in terms of that. We've scored 50 goals in comparison, so 10 less than Liverpool. 59 points, as I said, same as us. In fact, they've got the identical record to us as well. So they've won 17, so have we. They've drawn 8, so have we. And they've lost 11, so have we. So we've got an identical record to Liverpool in terms of Premier League. It would be lovely to beat them and end up above them, and instead of clinching onto a fifth position, maybe getting a fourth place position would be even better for us. So last 5 games for Liverpool coming into it, a 1-1 draw against Chelsea just recently. Ryan Gravenberch getting a goal for Liverpool. Before that, a 3-2 defeat against Man United. Szoboszlai and Gakpo scoring for Liverpool, and I think Hobby Mainoo getting the winner for United late on. A 3-1 win against Palace, and Alexander Isak, Andrew Robertson and Florian Wirtz getting the goals for Liverpool there in a 3-1 win. A 2-1 win against Everton, Salah and Van Dijk. I think Van Dijk in the 90th minute getting the winner in the Merseyside derby. And then the 5th game was a 2-0 defeat at home against PSG, who, are just looking unstoppable at the moment. So Liverpool coming into this, a draw, a loss and a win in the last 3. Mixed bag. They've got Curtis Jones playing at right back at the moment. Frimpong playing a little bit more advanced of him. Arne Slot under huge pressure at the moment. They've got a big call to make in the summer whether they stick with him or not. I've got a feeling that he'll go. I don't think he's done well enough this season at all. I think they'll look for a new person to come in. Goalkeeper wise, obviously Alisson is doubtful with a hamstring injury. Has missed the last few games. They had Mamardashvili against Chelsea, but before that, they had Woodman in goal, who's like a third choice goalkeeper. So I don't know what the goalkeeper situation is at the moment. Kanate came off injured against Chelsea as well. Maybe that was just a precaution, but is there a little bit of doubt for this game? So, they were busy in the transfer market, spent massive money. Isak, who's obviously been injured, hasn't had a consistent run of games to get up and firing, but he's available. He's been coming off the bench in the last few games. Scored against Palace, so he's a big signing for them. Florian Wirtz was obviously a massive big name signing for them as well. Hugo Ekitike, who's currently out with an injury. I think it's a rupture of the Achilles, so he's out until I think it's just like Christmas time or something. So that's a big boost for us and a massive blow for them. Frimpong, obviously a big signing. Kirkes, another big signing for them as well. Top goal scorer, so Ekitike, as I mentioned, 17 goals. He was absolutely flying, and then that injury has absolutely, derailed his season, his World Cup, everything. So, massive loss to Liverpool. Szoboszlai, we know he's a danger anywhere, set pieces, anywhere outside the box. He's got a fantastic long-range effort on him. You need to be closing him down, need to be man marking him. 13 goals this season and 10 assists. Tells its story there for Dominic Szoboszlai. Mohamed Salah, obviously the big name who's going to be leaving in the summer, probably heading to Saudi, I think, I would imagine. 12 goals and 9 assists. He's missed the last 2 games, hasn't been involved. He's got a thigh injury, according to reports, but he could be back for this. And he's always put in a good performance against Aston Villa, hasn't he? And it, wouldn't surprise me if he did get on the pitch for them and perhaps even score. Gakpo, 9 goals and 6 assists this season. And then Florian Wirtz, 7 goals and 10 assists this season for Liverpool as well. So injury-wise, as I mentioned, Florian Wirtz actually is out with a stomach bug at the moment. Whether he recovers in time is 50-50. Salah's got a thigh injury, apparently. Hasn't been in the last 2 matchday squads. I've got a feeling he'll be fit for this. Ekitike is definitely out, ruptured Achilles. Connor Bradley's definitely out. Endo is definitely out. Alisson has a hamstring injury. Again, he's kind of 50-50 for this, but has missed the last few games, really. So let's see how it goes with that. And then, team lineup-wise for Villa, and talking about Villa, do we go strong for this game? Do we kind of rotate it, rely on Man City to beat Bournemouth to wrap up Champions League for us and keep everyone fresh for Freiburg on Wednesday? I'm in very much 2 minds. I want to go out and win. I want to get a little bit of confidence going into the final. At the same time, I don't want to risk injury to certain players. So I think for this one, for me, I want to see us going strong for at least an hour. I mean, look, you can pick up injuries in training. You can pick up injuries anywhere. You can come on the pitch as a sub for like a minute and pick up an injury. So we can't be fixated on that. But if there are players with certain niggles here and there, then fair enough. I do want to see Ross Barkley starting this game because he can't play in that Europa League. So there's no point risking a player for him. So my lineup for this game on Friday is going to be Emi Martinez in goal. Any signs of any sort of injury in the warm-up or any tightness or anything like that, then Marco Bizzo puts on the shirt for sure. But Emi Martinez for me. Matty Cash right back because we don't have anyone else. Andres Garcia is not ready and he'll be ripped to pieces in this game. So Matty Cash, Ezri Konsa, Pau Torres. I'm going to go the experienced head of Luca Digne. Ian Maatsen did get the nod against Burnley, didn't impress, had a torrid time, and I think he'll be targeted again in this sort of game. So I want to go with the steady head of Luca Digne. And then the CDM, looks like Amadou Onana is still out. Rumours are it could be he probably missed a final as well. His season is over, perhaps. So I'm going Yuri Tielemans in there with Victor Lindelof again, having Lindelof dropping into the back 3, letting Cash get forward a little bit, similar to what we did against Forest there. And then for me, John McGinn from the right-hand side, inverting on his left foot, as he's done. Ross Barkley in the 10. And then Morgan Rogers will never be dropped, and I think he'll play from the left in this game, even though I would like to see him kind of rested, but it won't happen. And then Ollie Watkins up front. So that leaves Emi Buendia on the bench, who I thought did really well against Burnley when he came on, provided a spark. And trust me, when it comes to 60 minutes in this game, I'm pulling everyone off. Oh, sounds a bit weird. I'm subbing everyone off that need resting, that need to be preserved for Wednesday. So people like McGinn are going to come off. You will see him making those 5 changes, I imagine. You're going to see Ollie Watkins coming off for Abraham. You're going to see Emi Buendia coming on for the last 20 minutes, perhaps. You're going to see Leon Bailey. You're going to see a lot of change when it comes to the sort of the 60th, 65 minutes, I would imagine. I can't see him, playing Ollie Watkins 90 minutes. I can't see him playing John McGinn 90 minutes. Can't see him playing Morgan Rogers for 90 minutes in this one, even though he does every single time. Yuri Tielemans, there will be some rotation there, regardless of what the score is. I don't think we're going to go out chasing a victory if it means players getting injured and tired and things like that. Any sort of niggles, any sort of feeling, they're going to come off, I think. So I'm going for score prediction-wise with a 2-2 draw here. I think Liverpool are still going to be a good team, and we've got that record of teams are struggling for form and consistency, players are struggling for goals. Come against Aston Villa, like Tottenham did. Burnley have done a performance in there, the best one of the season. I think it was. A lot of people said so. It's going to be a difficult game. Liverpool want to win, want to end the season on a high. want to cement sort of as high as they can in the league. I think they can't get any higher than 4th anyway, but they want to secure that place above us basically as well. So, and Arne Slot wants to win every game because he's hanging on to his job by the looks of things. But for me, I think it's going to be 2-2. I'm going to go Morgan Rogers to score for Villa. I'm going to go Ollie Watkins to score again for Villa. And we just see out a game on a 2-2 result. If we can get a win 2-1, I'll absolutely take it. Don't get me wrong. But I think it's going to be rest and rotation going on in that second half. But I want to see us go strong, put in a real good effort in, get some minutes into the legs. And then, yeah, all eyes on that Europa League final on Wednesday. But yeah, guys, I'll leave it there. Let me know your score predictions. Let me know your team lineups. What do you want to see? What kind of rotation? Do you think it's the end of the line for a few of these players here in terms of their Villa careers? Could we add people like Luca Digne to that list as well, perhaps, even though he's, back in the, the left back spot now for us? I think there's going to be a massive rebuild at Villa in the summer. And that does mean making tough decisions and letting go of certain players. And yeah, we just need to make those. So yeah, I'll leave it there. Hype it up. Let's put a like target on this one for 25 likes. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Team lineup wise, what you want to see. Score predictions, let me know. Put it in there. And if you made it to the end of this video, just type in the word Istanbul. Up the Villa. Bye for now.